close to the time of the year when players are going to get, teams are going to get recognized for accomplishments during the course of the year, and there's seedings, and there's players of the year, and coaches of the year, and first teams and second teams, so on and so forth. I'd like to make a case for KT being a first team all-conference player this year. He leads the league in scoring. He leads the league in three-point percentage and makes. He's 7th in the nation in three-point percentage, and a lot of times he's got to take tough contested shots. He's been our best player. He's improved defensively. It's tough to get a first-team all-conference player on a team that's finished near the bottom of the league, but I think KT is. He'd start on any team in this conference, and that's saying a lot. So anyways, I'm really proud of him. He did a great job on Tuesday at Missouri. He was the best player on the floor, in my opinion. As coach, I should be able to, if I've got the best player on the floor that night, I should be able to win that game in that situation. And we obviously did not get stops late, which has been a real issue for us. It's been the overwhelming issue for us as far as our ability to win or lose games. More than anything else, that's got to change next year with our personnel, is our ability to guard. Our numbers have got to be much different defensively than what they are right now. And as a result, we'll win more games because we'll be able to guard. That would be our goal. At the same time, we had 4 empty possessions. We had KT with a turnover, Malcolm with a turnover. Sim got to the rim and had a great look and didn't finish it and was on the ground. They came down the other end and score. And then KT got fouled a couple times the last possession, didn't call it. But they put 2 hands on him twice and they didn't call it. So that was disappointing. That was put a lot of pressure on our offense by not being able to stop Missouri. A lot to play for in this one, both for Georgia and for Auburn. Georgia has a chance to be as high as a 3 seed. They have a chance to receive the double bye, and if they don't win, then they don't. For us, it's mathematically still possible for us to be an 11 seed, and so we got a lot to play for in addition to trying to finish up our home stand and be able to reward our fans who have been phenomenal with a victory.
Bruce, first and foremost, I know the funeral is today. Is there any word as to whether Antoine will be back?
I don't think Antoine, right now we have no plans for Antoine to return tonight or tomorrow. Unfortunately, we had made arrangements to fly privately with coaches and players last night to the wake. We practiced yesterday morning at 6:15 a.m. in order to be able to do that, but we also knew that there was the potential for weather. We also were looking at some contingency commercial flights. So I was very aware of the 9 a.m. departure out of Atlanta in LaGuardia. That flight was sold out, and I probably couldn't have made it anyways because of the time change and practicing early. That was one I couldn't make, but we looked at that flight as a potential flight to get on, and it was sold out, and of course it almost ran into the river up in New York City. So we weren't able to get there yesterday. Funerals this morning.
When you talk about the tournament next week for him yet, or is that just wait and see?
I think it's still up in the air. I think it's a possibility, but it's going to just have to be something that Antoine is, that he decides he wants to try to do it. He's been out all week, been out of practice all week. And I'm going to leave it up to him. I'll just leave it up to him. So here is, it's Friday, almost noon, and I'm not really sure about tomorrow, so therefore I'd have to assume not. That said, last time we played Georgia, we didn't know until about 1 o'clock. Well, we knew Friday early evening that he was trying to get back to play Saturday, and he did make it back into Atlanta. We picked him up and got him over to Athens. So we just, just knowing what he's going through and everything, he's done a great job of getting back and forth and as he could. The other thing too, as far as senior night is concerned, we'll honor him just like he's there, just like the other seniors, players and managers, and we'll do that pregame with the other 3 senior players and 3 senior managers. So we'll have a total of 7 being honored, and so it'll be nice before the game tomorrow.
Bruce, even though you didn't win as many games as you wanted, how valuable were KC and Antoine and getting those guys in here for this season?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Denson was a huge part of the program for a number of years, and his last year, was he first team or second team? Second team all conference, and did a really good job out there with KT, and so awfully difficult for us to come in and try to have to replace a player who'd been here for many years and done a great job. And we did the best we could with KC and Antoine as 5th-year guys. I'm not a huge proponent of the rule, but in this case it really worked out well for us. If it's what's best for student athletes, I guess sometimes I'm okay with it in the sense that those guys got a chance to be a part of Auburn family, and we'll look back on certain games and go, without them we have no chance to win. I'll look back at other games and say, with them we had no chance to win. And KC played great against Georgia at Georgia. Antoine, played great in our win against LSU, and and then obviously with Kareem Canty being recruited at the same time to play point guard, it really fit the bill. In other words, you couldn't recruit Kareem, sit him out, and have a freshman there, because he'd be looking over his shoulder knowing that Kareem was going to come in next year and start at point or have a real good shot at it. You know what I'm saying? So I think the combination of KC, Antoine, to get us through. We used the words all year long, from the very beginning even. We're trying to avoid a disaster this year. Whether or not it was a disaster is up to anybody else. It's up to your opinion as to whether it was or whether it wasn't, or whether it is or whether it isn't. It's certainly, we didn't win as many games as we would like to have. It could have been a lot worse. A lot worse.
Are these, I'm sorry to cut you off, but are these, this current stretch right now, when Taj is out and when Antoine is dealing with his family situation, the illustration of that point of, because an observer from the outside may say, hey, if you finish in 13th, how much worse could it be? But when you're seeing it right now, that this could have very well been what all year looked like?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, when back in April, and I'm sitting there on a show cause, and we have where we're at right there. It was pretty, before Simeon, before KC, before Antoine, and then before Kareem. So I think in a lot of ways we scrambled and worked pretty hard to at least be competitive. We had some games where where there were 20-pointers, but the rosters were that vastly different. We went on the road, and in our road games in conference play, we played well at Alabama, we played well at Tennessee. We didn't play well at Florida, but we did get it down to 5 or 6 fairly late. Played well at LSU, played well at Georgia, played well at Missouri. And those could have been games that could have been just, really gotten away from us. So I'm going to pull some positive things. It's tough to be ending the season without a lot of success. And not being Alabama once was tough. But I tell you what, the support's been great, both in the stands and even just personally and privately. It's been really positive. I've not beat up these kids because it's not all their fault, and the Auburn family hasn't beat us up because they recognize our effort and they see the hope. Georgia is, you know, they're a very physical team, and there's a reason why a Georgia or a Texas A&M or an Ole Miss were able to stay with Kentucky, because those three teams are the most physical teams in our league. Even Vanderbilt, who played Kentucky pretty close early at Kentucky. And so the matchup over there, it doesn't all make sense that we were able to beat that team because of the way they're built. Physical screeners, posters, drivers, some of the things that we struggle with. We went small at Georgia, and it really helped us in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game. We were down 9 with about 7 minutes to go, and Sim went to the line, missed 2 free throws. KT got the offensive rebound and made 2 free throws, and that started us in a chain where I think we probably scored on 7 of our last 10 possessions, and managed to, you know, win the basketball game. So we're going to have to physically man up in a big way against Georgia, because their guards are big and strong and physical and older, and it's been that the physicality has been our biggest weakness.
That's good.
Well, I've got one I wanted to ask. When you have a full off season with Simeon coming up here, are you going to try to change his ways a little bit in the full court? Is that something that bothers you really? Because he does a lot of good things too.
Yeah, I think with every player, what you look at is, okay, how can we reshape them? How can we retool them? How can we keep what's good, get rid of what's bad, and put all the pieces together? You know, for example, Jordan Granger at the power forward position. You know, can he put on 15 pounds? He's never been able to, but can he? You know, because 15 pounds bigger with his ability to stretch the defense, play hard athletically, so on and so forth, it could really be a factor for us. With Simeon, he'd like to be 15 lighter and quicker and be in better shape, because the season has taken a physical toll, I think, on Sim, in the sense that he doesn't have the lift or the energy that I think he had earlier in the year, and I think it's because playing at our current weight, you know, playing at 270 and throughout the season, I think it's probably physically taken its toll on him. So I think for his own good, and so there would be 2 examples of a guy that will want to take some off, a guy that want to put some on. Trayvon Reed came in at 220. He's 235 now. He's gained 15 pounds in 3 months. Now he won't keep that pace up, because these first 15 we're going to be a little easier to put on, just based on the wellness kitchen and the increase in weight training, so on and so forth. But that's a good sign. He's got plenty of room to put more on. But if he puts on another 15 heading into next year, so that's kind of what we work on in the off season. And the bottom line is just having more depth, having more competition, having more length and size, which will help us be better defensively, which is where we need to really focus on. Because, you know, offensively, if we're 5th or 6th in the league in scoring, maybe 6th, and we're tops in 3-pointers made in percentage, you're okay there, even on a team that's near the bottom of the league. But defensively, our 2-point defense is the worst in the league.
All right.